I'm Michael Lamport, the producer and narrator of the psychic show Rescue Mediums. And with me, as always, is Jackie Dennison, who's the host of Rescue Mediums and the co-owner of Feathers Academy of Clairvoyant Mediums. And this episode, we're very lucky to have Celia and Johnathan, who are from Paranormal Voyages, with us. And I've seen a couple of their episodes, and we'll get into them, but one really freaked me out, which is the Clown Hotel. And it's because I don't really like clowns. Although as an actor, I've played a clown, but they freak me out. So, Celia and Johnathan, welcome. How are you?
Good, and you?
We're good, thank you.
Hi, both of you.
So tell us a little bit about how you came across the Clown Hotel.
We decided one day when we moved out here to Las Vegas, we would take our little journey out to the Clown Motel. We've heard stories about the location. So we took that little journey. It's about 3.5 hours away from the Las Vegas area. And we finally found the place, and we decided to spend a couple of nights there and look into what was going on.
Actually, whenever we first arrived there, we had activity happen while we were talking to one of the guests, and employees were in the room, so that's whenever we decided, hey, let's investigate this place. There's an old 1901 cemetery directly beside of it. So it was very intriguing.
Oh yeah. The energy in there is very alive. So
You're braver than I am, because even though I do spirit rescue work, graveyards are not my favorite places to be.
Yeah, the energy there is a little wacky.
Because I've watched the Clown Motel episode that you did, and I couldn't believe it, because you'd had the clown's hands moving before, hadn't you? You'd seen that in a previous visit, and then there you are, both of you asking for the for proof for spirit to be around and to move the clown's hands, and then you were waiting and wait. You got a few little things, and you were walking around, and then when you said, right, okay, we're going to leave you now and go, blow me, their hands just moved all on their own. That first the one hand and then the other hand. I shot off my chair, I tell you. I watched the episode and I went, oh, no way. And Michael, I could just imagine his face, because he really does not like clowns, and that's a life size clown, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I find clowns very scary, and I don't know why, because we use them at kids' parties, and so maybe something goes into a kid's mind when they see a clown, and then as you grow up, I don't know what happens. It expands.
Yeah.
But I find them frightening.
How did you two feel? How did you two feel when you were there?
Well, that place, Tonopah in itself, it just has so much energy, and we have been everywhere, all around the United States to investigate. And we would have to say Tonopah is like the most haunted town we've ever been to. It's an old mining town. So it's seen a lot of death. They had a plague in the early 1900s. They had a mine fire that actually killed over 17 men. And those men are actually buried in the cemetery that's right beside the Clown Motel. So you can feel the energy. If you have any, type of abilities, you're sensitive to this, you're going to feel that when you go to this town.
Yeah. See, I have never feared clowns. I've always gone to the circus as a child. But, now as an adult, when you look at the clown's makeup, it can be kind of creepy to a child or to another adult. Now, this clown in particular has very realistic hands too, so that kind of like creeped me out. But the energy of that clown is very mischievous. Mischievous. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Who do you think was doing that? Did you connect with the spirit that was there that would have been doing that to the clown? Or do you think the clown itself had a spirit energy attachment?
Well, there's, like I said, the cemetery is right beside there. So we believe the hauntings, the majority of the hauntings there are coming from the cemetery.
Right.
We don't know for sure who. We think multiple are kind of inhabiting the clown back and forth to show that, you know, people that they're there.
Right.
They want to communicate and show us. We've never had anything negative happen in the motel itself, but the cemetery. Now, during our episode, the spirits were telling us not to go toward the back of the cemetery. We had some wild things happen out there. Now, it was a little bit darker out there. You know, people do ritualistic type things and can conjure up bad things in cemeteries. So we believe that negative energy in the cemetery in the back has come from that.
Yeah, I didn't like the feeling there in the cemetery. It kept telling us to play it smart and not to go back to the back of the cemetery. I could feel them surrounding us too. It was multiple spirits around us, multiple entities, and I could hear them shuffling around us. So Johnathan and I just said, you know, okay, let's take it back to the motel. And yeah. But I believe it's multiple spirits that are inhabiting the clown itself.
Yeah. Wow. And that episode's gone viral, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has actually.
Yeah.
It's
a good
pretty
episode.
wild. You know, people, you know, when something, you put ghosts and clowns together, that's just creepy. Especially whenever the life-size clown moves by itself.
Yeah.
Now, we captured its hands move twice, and we were in that office for over an hour. And you can see that we're directly beside the clown. We walked around the clown, and those hands never budged.
Yeah.
Now, when we decide, okay, it's time to move on, we have not had these hands to move. I said, you know, let's cut cameras. I kept 2 cameras rolling just in case, because as an investigator, you know that things typically tend to happen when you're walking away.
Yeah.
You know, they did. I left 2 rolling, and you know, we were a good distance away from the clown. You know, anybody can say, oh, sure, it's, you know, vibration. Well, we ruled that out. We tried to debunk it. Like I said, we were around the clown all night, and
You
those
even
hands,
kicked the chairs. Yeah.
those hands never moved. So that was amazing. And not just one hand moved, both hands moved. And we were just blown away. I mean, I was in shock. She said the first hand moved. Obviously, I was looking at it, and I said, really? That's how much in shock I was.
Yeah.
And then the left hand comes down, and then it just blew us away.
Yeah, I wouldn't take my eyes off of that clown as he was packing up. And I didn't even realize he had the camera rolling. I was like, oh no, the hand moved. And he didn't catch it, but he had the camera rolling. So, which was
smart.
That was
smart. What I love is your reactions when you react to something, because you know, when you're doing this all the time, when you're a paranormal investigator or doing spirit rescue work or anything in that way, you sort of get a little bit blasé to it. It's like, oh yeah, that's happened again or whatever, which we shouldn't ever do, because it is absolutely phenomenal. I love the expressions on your faces when something like that happens and you go, oh my God, that just happened. You know, when you've been wanting it to happen and waiting and asking, and then it happens, because it doesn't always happen on point like that, does it? You can be hours.
Especially poltergeist activity like that. You know, I've said this a million times. A lot of investigators like us who take this seriously will go their whole lives and never have something like that happen. So it was just amazing, you know, and our reactions are all genuine. It's a passion of ours. We do love what we do. So what you see and how we react is genuine. You know, we love it. So it is exciting when something like that happens. I'm
always excited. I end up having that dumb little chuckle, a little laugh in the back of my throat when something happens. And he's like, what's wrong with you? It's just the excitement, just and the feeling of it is, it's empowering.
When did the 2 of you first get into this realm of paranormal investigation?
I say I really started to really get into this and kind of acknowledge it probably around 2003, 4-ish, somewhere around in there is when I really started to acknowledge it. It was something that was spoke about more on television. So that is what really brought my attention to say, hey, these things growing up that were unexplainable, that it was paranormal. Whenever you hear someone whisper in your ear and there's no one there, how do you explain that? Someone audibly right there.
Yeah, I really got into it in around 2007. I have some friends who are paranormal investigators, and they decided to invite me along on an investigation, and that kind of like piqued my interest because I did have experiences as a teenager, seeing things, hearing things, seeing objects move. But in my adult life, I wanted to like really see, okay, I wanted to go out there and experience it myself. So I went along on this investigation, and it blew my mind. It was actually very terrifying to me. It was the very first time I was literally pulled down the stairs as I was going up the stairs.
Oh my God.
On an investigation. I had rug burn on my face from the carpeting on the stairs and my elbow. And I said I would never do anything like this again. And here I
am. It can get very physical though, can't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I watched another show. I can't think what the name. It was a hotel that you did, and you were overshadowed, Celia, and you were feeling very, very nauseous. And Johnathan, you even asked, if she needed a medic. To come see to her.
Yeah. The Mizpah hotel. We were in the Lady in Red's room. I believe I was feeling her emotions taking over me. I kept seeing blips of images in my head of her being stabbed multiple times and lifting her arms up to block herself from the stabbing.
Wow.
But I really felt like I was going to go down. I felt like I was going to collapse, and that he was there.
Good. You see, that's when you need your partner. This is why it's so important. I mean, with, whenever I do any spirit rescue work, investigations or whatever, whether it's on rescue mediums or personally, there's always a partner. I always have a partner because you need to be able to know that there is someone there physically as well as spiritually that can be there for you and can help you round with whatever you're up against. And you're working blindly with this, aren't you, when you go into these sort of investigations? Now, in that same episode, Johnathan, you heard children, didn't you, running up and down the landing?
Yeah, and actually we're speaking to some friends about this last night, and I've had some amazing experiences over the years. I mean, I have literally seen demonic entities, standing next to me.
Wow.
But the children, running past my door and giggling was just one thing I'll never, ever, ever forget. I opened the door immediately when that happened because I knew the stories there. And this was probably, after 11:30 at nighttime at the Mizpah Hotel. And as soon as I heard that, it clicked in my head, this is a story here. I opened the door and there was absolutely no one there. It was impossible for them to hide, to do anything like that. That was an incredible experience. And like I said, I've experienced a lot, but that one will always stay with me.
Yeah. That hotel is very draining to me.
Right.
Time I'm at the Mizpah, I'm always very exhausted and tired. And that night I fell asleep. We were going to do an investigation, and I said I have to take a nap. And that was the very first thing he mentioned to me when I woke up, was that he heard children running through the hallway. And the look on his face was just like he had this like little boy in a little candy store. Yeah. But that Mizpah Hotel always drains me. Is that something that's normal? Because I'm still embracing all of this.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you have to keep your energy levels up at all the times anyway, with like grounding and protecting yourself, especially when you're doing an investigation. And you use the spirit box quite a lot, don't you? Spirit boxes annoy me because it's like, it's a noise. And I like to be able to listen to the energy in the room. So I have used them, and they do have amazing results at times. I know in the Miss as well. Didn't you get the name of the lady? Didn't she speak her name?
Yes.
And you can hear it really clearly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we weren't even reaching out to her. We were in the
Yeah.
basement trying to reach out to the miners. We never once even said her name.
Right.
You know, during the investigation, that was something that was going to be later up in her room where she was, you know, murdered.
Right.
And he came across and said who she was. I asked who was, you know, what is your name? And she said Evelyn.
Yeah.
And it was very loud. It was very clear. And
It's
no one
very
else
clear.
has ever captured her name there before.
No, she's never spoken to any investigators and mentioned her name in any investigation, as far as we know.
And I truly believe that, you know, ghost spirits, they pick out who they want to interact with.
Yeah.
You know, she felt comfortable with speaking with us, you know, and it was the first time. Even, you know, the people who worked there said no one else has ever captured that before. And we actually had the manager, sales manager, investigate with us in the basement. So she experienced that. And before we got her name, all three of us were touched multiple times. And the spirits acknowledged and said that they did it. Now, that was amazing evidence there.
Yeah, I watched that, and you could clearly, because at one point you said, "Oh, I can feel something on my arm," and then you know, you were aware of that. And I think the lady who was with you, because she was a skeptic, she'd never done anything like that before. She could feel that on her leg, couldn't she? She felt someone touch her on her leg.
Yeah, and then the spirit actually said that it did it, you know.
Yeah,
and even
yeah, and then you heard that. Yeah, I did it. I did it.
And then when it touched my arm, a male came across and said, "Touched him."
Yeah.
You know, she was touched multiple times, and they acknowledged each time that they touched her as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's incredible. You know, we love what we do. We love to help people, and we love to help, you know, the ghosts there that, you know, if they need to cross over, that's something we don't add in much. I've been trying to add in a little more, but we do try to help them if that's what they want, if they want to
Well,
cross.
that's great. That's great to know that, because, you know, coming from the background that I come from, and Michael too, that's what we do. You know, we find out why they're haunting. Do they need help? So that's really great to hear that you do that. That if they do need help to cross over, that you would do that. So yeah, I applaud you for that. And you're very respectful of the environment that you're in, and you're very respectful of the spirit energies that are there. And I think that's probably why the spirits trust you so much.
Yeah, it's, you know, we want to treat, you know, there were people as well, you know, so yeah, sometimes you can come across negative energies. It does happen. You know, we've had it happen numerous times over the years. You know, like I've always said, death will attract negative energies. That negative feeds off of it. So typically, if there's been a lot of death somewhere, there will be a negative energy around. Now the Miss Paul, we didn't have anything negative there. We had a lot of great interaction. And like you said, we use the spirit box a lot. That is something that's a little controversial, because people, if you don't fully understand it and you've never really used it, then you can understand. And yeah, the noise, you know, it is annoying. It's annoying to me as well. But over the years of using that for years, I've, you know, been able to decipher how to properly use it and hear. You know, some people do that. But it's an amazing piece of equipment.
Oh yeah.
When you get a relative, a direct response, you know, like, "Hey, can you say my name?" And then it clearly says Johnathan. How do you disprove that? You know, and then ask the same question for her, and then it says her name.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say that that's not real.
Yeah. And so that's great, because you're all the time you're trying to prove that spirits are there, that they exist, and that there's just another realm that we just can't see with the physical eye.
Right.
Yeah. What's the scariest thing? What's the scariest place that you've been to?
We've been to a lot of places, and some of them can be overwhelming with the energy that hits you. Typically we'll go to places that are known for hauntings. I'd say one of the scariest places I've ever been to was actually the old Charleston jail in Charleston, South Carolina. Now that place, you know, I walked around and you could just feel the energy in there. And it was I had so many experiences there. First time ever being physically touched by, you know, a ghost, and just that feeling. But it was pretty scary, you know, alone from the 1700s, and it was amazing. What about you?
My scariest experience was that house where I was pulled down the stairs. That was my scariest demonic attack, basically, because they did end up having to have a priest exorcise the home family in the end. But yeah, that was my scariest experience, you know, I think. And being held down in my room while I was wide awake, being pushed down. Yeah, but that was a scarier place in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
What have you guys got? What have you guys got coming up?
Actually,
what else are you doing?
We did our first season. It was cut short because of COVID. So I made the decision to stop it where it was at, because it made no sense to come back basically a year later and pick up on the first season. So we started filming our second season of Paranormal Voyages, and we have our Halloween premiere this year on Halloween of the Goldfield Hotel. Now,
Where's that?
Any investigator knows this place. It's in Goldfield, Nevada, and it's said to be one of the most haunted hotels in America. It's another old mining town, a lot of rich history to it, a lot of deaths, and it's under renovation. It's been under renovation for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's that empty longer than that. And it's a very hard place to get into, and we were fortunate enough to get in there. And we had some amazing experiences, and we haven't said too much about it, but this is one investigation that we both had to actually cut short. And I don't like to cut investigations short, but it was for her safety.
Wow.
And, you know, if you're watching what we do, you'll see exactly what happened. It was amazing. We had amazing evidence, amazing experiences. Unfortunately, Celia got the blunt end of it, like usual. She's more sensitive to this light that attracts all energies. So we had to cut it short, but we were there for a while, so we got a good bit of what we did. So
yeah, this is a town before Tonopah, about a half hour away from Tonopah. So Goldfield is just a little rinky-dink town, small, very small, limited amount of people living there, dirt roads, kind of like you're living in the past. But it's an amazing place. It really is.
Now, do the people that live there, do they experience spirit as well? Do you know?
Yeah, we've talked to several people there. Like I said, it's a very haunted town. It's known for its hauntings. That's what put the town on the map recently. Back in the day, in the early 1900s, it was put on the map because of the mining. But yeah, the locals know about the hauntings there. Some really don't like to speak about it. Others are open to talk about it. But we do speak to a few people about the hauntings that you'll see in the episode, what they've experienced and what they know.
Yeah, I think the episodes that you put together that certainly that I've seen so far, they are so well put together. It's very clear. Everything about what you do is very very grounded. You're both very grounded people, which and that comes across, and considerate as well. So you're not sort of going in and going, I challenge you to show yourself, which really annoys me when people do that. But so you do go in knowing what you're walking into, and I like the fact that you get the history together. So you know what you're going to investigate. Well, if you come across something else while you're there, then that's a bonus. But it's almost like you're trying to you're on spirit's side, trying to prove that they're there rather than to disprove it, which I really like. That I think they're very, very well thought out and very well put together. I've watched a lot of paranormal shows because they interest me, obviously, and I'd say yours is one of the ones that's very high up there in the ratings.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I do all the filming, all that B-roll, all the editing. I do all of that.
You do a
my-
great job.
Thank you. It's a passion. Like I said, I love it. It's not something I ever thought I would do by myself. I was never an editor or videographer or anything like that, but it just came about with this. So, you know, my passion, I feel, shows through how I put this together. And thank you for that. We really do appreciate that, for people to acknowledge the hard work that goes into it, because it is our passion.
Yeah, and Michael knows how that feels, don't you, Michael? All the hard work that goes into a show, being the narrator and the producer of our show.
Yeah, but I'm no editor, so I couldn't do that. I watch the editors that we hire, and you know, like for 3 weeks, they're just in a dark room looking at the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that.
He's there for days and months and weeks and in the dark.
The whole process.
Yeah.
The whole process.
It's paying off, because you're doing a great job. You really, really are.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Tell me about Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh yeah.
They're famous American gangsters. They're one of the first gangsters here in America. They committed over 13 murders, multiple robberies. I think around 9 of those murders were law enforcement officers.
Wow.
So they were very well known. They were looked up to as celebrities to people in that time. Kind of like a Robin Hood type thing, in the way that people have always said that they were, even though they did kill people. We went and actually visited the original car that they were shot up and killed in. And we didn't get to do a full investigation because it is in a public casino here in Las Vegas.
Right.
We did take our spirit box and try to see if anything would come through while we were there. And we did get one voice, and it was on Bonnie's side of the car that she was killed in. And I asked her, I said, Bonnie, I said, are you here? And then we get the voice that comes through, and it's a female voice, and it's very low, but you can hear it, and it says, stop. So we stopped, you know, and that was all we got. It was just a little visit, but that, you know, that car, it has to hold a lot of energy. They lived in this car. They committed, you know, crimes in this car. That was their, you know, place. Their energy is embedded in there, especially during their death. You know, being shot up in there, I feel that their energy is most definitely in there.
Yeah, you can see the blood stains that are still on the seats of the cars. They have it covered in plastic. I would love to touch that car just to see what I could feel. I know it sounds a little morbid, but I just want to feel the energy on the vehicle, you know. But just their history, their story, just how they lived and how people worshiped them. It was just an interest, you know. It's just, it's just incredible. Absolutely.
I love that episode because also like a lot of people out there watching right now probably too remember the movie called Bonnie and Clyde, and it was so good, and it was actually I felt sort of sad when they got killed.
Right.
You know, you don't want the bad guys to win, but see, and looking at that car, it was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
it was like a love story, you know. That's the way people were looking at it at that time. There have been a lot of movies about it, so to be able to actually go and view the car, you know, from something I've watched growing up, you know, over the years of these people, it was an amazing, you know, amazing vehicle.
Yeah.
Celia, you sound very like me, because I'm a toucher. I have to go and touch things. I use my hand shop for everything. I have to feel the energy.
I have to. I mean, over the years, I've grown into embracing what I can do. I learned to block off certain things as well, because people alone can be draining, you know. So especially like in our jobs at work, we deal with a lot of people at our job, and some of them have like this wonderful energy, and then the others just suck the life out of you, you know. and you know, they mean well, but you just can't handle it. And I love to touch objects for that reason, to see what I can feel off of them.
Yeah, that's me. I even said, we went into a museum in Spain, and there's notices everything, please do not touch, you know. And it's like an invisible thing that if you go over the laser, it'll start. Over the laser there. Damn.
That's me there.
He likes to do that too. It says don't touch, you'll touch it.
It says don't touch, you can guarantee.
Is there a place that you would like to do that you know you've got in your mind, like that's a great place, would love to do that, love to investigate that in the future?
I would love to go out of the States and maybe go to the UK and investigate some places out there.
Cool.
That's something that I would definitely love to do.
Yeah, we definitely want to venture out of the country. We know the UK has a lot of haunted history, you know, so there's some places there we'd love to hit up, castles and things of that sort. There's nowhere really in particular, just some of the most haunted places, you know, that are well known for their hauntings. You know, Poveglia Island is one in Italy. I would really love to go there and see what's going on there. I've heard the stories. You know, places like that.
Oh yeah, I don't have a particular place either, but if we could explore other countries, other locations, that would just be that would be a dream come true for me.
Well, maybe when this pandemic is over, we're all allowed to travel again.
Hopefully.
Maybe you can do it.
Yeah, we have some friends, you know, in the UK as well, so we definitely got to come out there and see them too.
Well, you have another one now, and I'm in the UK. So. Do you find that you have spirit following you home from places?
Absolutely. You know, sometimes we get behind on what we're doing and we forget to say certain things to make sure. And even sometimes if the energy is really strong, it will still attach itself if it really wants to, and will follow you no matter what. You know? And another big thing is we do collect items that are said to hold energy, you know, and we do this for research purposes. It's not for, you know, to be cool or, you know, a trendy type thing. We actually do this because we want to try to understand. We'll never fully understand that side, but we want to understand certain things, like these items we have behind us here. I'm not sure if you can see them, but some of these items actually contain energy we've brought from locations, or people have sent them to us, and they do.
Yeah. We have a couple here that are kind of, I was told by another medium that we have a couple of dolls that are actually communicating with each other. So we cleanse them often, make sure that we keep them at bay. They're up to.
Well, I've come across that as well, you know, with the ventriloquist dummy that was communicating. That was a spirit attachment to that, and the guy that owned the spirit, you know, the dummy, was still working the dummy. It's just that no one could see him; they could just see the dummy move. So that was quite something to be able to connect it in that way. And of course, objects do hold energy, particularly, you know, objects that somebody has absolutely loved, and you know, there's a lot of energy of that person around that item. I've even had pictures that, you know, like a picture on a wall that had the energy of the essence of the person that had owned it there. Very strong. Or even books as well. Do you find that with books sometimes?
With books, older books, definitely.
You know, people, you know, I used to be this way too. You look at it and say, how can a doll be haunted, or, you know, an object like that? It's no different than a house. You know, that energy has imprinted itself to the wood, to the floors. You know, that's why the place is haunted. It's just like a doll, a painting, or a box or anything like that. That energy, whether it's a demonic force or it's a once living human, energy. It could be a residual energy, or it could be a spirit, ghost that didn't want to let go of that particular item, that really loved it. So that's what I've seen with some of the items that we have here.
And I'm funny in the sense where some people like to buy old jewelry.
Yeah.
I don't buy old jewelry. It's, no matter how beautiful it is, I think it's a little too personal, especially if it's something that belonged to someone for many years that they loved. I just have that respect to not want to buy that old jewelry for that reason.
Well, their energy,
it should be passed.
That energy itself, if it's a ring or something like that, could
right?
Be, she could be feeling, or whoever could be feeling that energy. Well, it could be a positive energy, it could be a negative,
right?
Anything like that. So I guess that's.
And I love old things. The jewelry can stay.
Yeah, well, you're empathic though, aren't you? So you're picking up on the thoughts and feelings of that person as well.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned demonic a few times, Johnathan. You said demonic. What's your interpretation of demonic?
A demon, something from hell. I don't want to get into religion. I know people are iffy about that, but demonic entities. People can conjure up these entities. Things they do in their life, can manifest as well. But some of these items we have here have some not so good energies to them, and some are not once living humans. We do know how to cleanse sage and oils and stuff our home, but sometimes, if we slack on that, things will happen. So we've had things happen here. When we first moved here, I spoke, I said, I experienced seen something demonic beside of me before. Well, that happened here in Vegas when we first moved here. I'd woken up to the sound of scratching. We had a blow up mattress because we didn't have anything. And I opened my eyes and there was this like 7 foot tall, what I call a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
And it had a cloak, but the only thing was it was completely white. The cloak was white and the face, it had no face. You could see the sockets, and you could see its bone structures. I think that was something demonic. We are in Vegas. A lot of bad things have happened here. There's a lot of drug overdoses, suicides, murders. It's a city. People come here. This is the top suicide capital here in America. People literally come here to kill themselves. So there's a lot of bad energy, and that will bring in demonic energy. They feed off of. So when I say demonic, that's what I'm talking about.
It's definitely elemental for sure.
Elementals as well.
I mean, just my experiences I've seen shadow figures that look like demons with what look like they had hooved feet and like weird horns. I've seen shadows like that. Foul odors, the growling. But what he saw was a little more scary when he was describing it when we first moved out here. I don't know what I would do if I saw anything that looked like that.
Now, actually, I just recently bought a mask, a Halloween mask. And the reason I bought this is because it reminds me of what I saw, just a different, just a different color. So this is a representation of what I seen that morning. Was this right here?
Ah. Okay.
Its face was a little bit slimmer. It was more pulled down exactly like this. And the face was white. Now, this is what I had seen right here. 7 foot tall with a cloak, completely white.
Well, now, what was your feelings? What was your gut feeling when you saw that? Other than, this great big thing stood in the bedroom, shouldn't be there. So, but what was your initial feeling with that?
When I opened my eyes and I seen that there, its toenails were extremely long, and that was what's scratching the bed. Whenever I seen that, it had no face. It scared me. I mean, it did. And the first thing I said was, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave. And once I did that, he was gone. He was gone.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I've dealt with people before that were into dark things. I've been held down in bed. I've been growled at, like what you had mentioned. So we have encountered some crazy things over our years experiences.
Yeah. I have a lot of faith, in, you know, and I mean, I know that we can't stop the evil from coming to us, but I fear no evil, basically. I mean, yes, I do, but yes, I stand my ground on how I feel in my faith.
Yeah. I would have, you know, having seen something like that. I mean, because I work with my spirit guides all the time. I know I'm protected. You're also protected when you go into, when you're working in a working situation. But you see, I would have to say, who are you? What are you doing here? Why? Because I'm nosy like that. So I would say, you know, who are you? I mean, it could even have been, I don't know what you feel about like extraterrestrials. It could be universal spirit energy coming in, connecting with you in that way. That's why I asked what you were feeling about it, because we never know, you know, sometimes we see something and like, as you're saying, Celia, you saw something that was like hooves and horns, which is your typical demonic sort of thing, but you know, that could be the projection of whoever was in spirit wanted you to see that. You know, that's why I like to strip the layers back and go, okay, you show me that, what, who are you really, who are you underneath all of that, why are you doing that? And so, because I'm really nosy and I like to find out who these people are, that why are you trying to scare me? I'm just here to communicate, you know, for whatever reason. But that is a pretty scary mask, I must admit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot scarier than
I wonder what you think about the like the four of us are on the corporeal plane. We're not in spirit yet, I don't think. And and if we are, this is pretty spooky. But people like that are on the physical world, and they're not nice people. And I think we've all come up against people that we don't like, or have been bullies, or have been nasty. Do you think that goes over to the spirit world? So when they pass, that their meanness and everything sort of passes with them, and then that's why they're so evil on the other side?
I believe so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone was a bad person in life, and if they're still here or even not here, the residual energy can stay, you know, around here and manifest itself.
Yeah.
You know, like she was talking about and asking about demonic figures and stuff like, or entities. Those things that we see may not be demonic. They could be something that someone else has manifested, or something is manifesting to scare us. You know, it's the thing with the paranormal is you'll really never fully know. It is something that is unknown. There are no experts. There never will be. You know, we go off of what we have experienced. So that's what we're talking about. You know, we try to contribute it to certain things to understand, but there's really no full answer to it. You know, we can only go about it by what we have experienced.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that if you are a miserable person in your life and you continue to be miserable and you have no, let's say, remorse for others or any happy thoughts or memories at all in general, I think that when you pass on, that is what you're going to leave behind, is that energy, that negative energy.
Yeah, you don't suddenly sprout wings and become an angel.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No, I just think that's a good lesson for everybody in the world right now, to sort of, you know, be positive, be nice, don't be, just don't be mean, just don't be horrible to people, because it'll haunt you forever.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
And if my life ever was to end, or like if I were to pass away, I want to be a happy spirit. I want to be the one who's there to be a guidance for someone else if I'm here in this world still. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the mean one.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, that sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah.
A happy place. You know, I've really, really enjoyed talking to you two. You are a credit to what you do, and I'm looking forward to the new seasons, and certainly to the Halloween episode. I'm going to be watching out for that one when that one comes out, and you're going to be joining Very Paranormal, which I'm really, really excited about. And working with myself and Michael on Very Paranormal with putting your shows out there and advertising what you do. And I really hope people get behind you and support you, because you deserve a really lucky break.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
We always enjoy everyone, you know, who support us. We thank everybody. You know, we're really truly appreciated.
And we like doing things for people too. Sometimes we do things on online for them, little giveaways to show our appreciation. You know, yeah.
Well, we're going to put all the links to you know, your episodes, to the Facebook. Do you want us to put to the Facebook pages or to your website?
Facebook or YouTube
or YouTube, or direct them to your YouTube. Yeah, okay, because they can watch all of your shows there, can't they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, I know it's early in the morning there, and so enjoy the rest of your day. It's tea time here in England, and it's just gone lunchtime in Toronto with Michael.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you so much. It was great meeting you guys. I hope to talk to you soon.
Great to meet you too. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.